I ride motocross every Sunday, and every Monday I ride my street bike to work and corner faster than normal without even meaning to. It's hard to deny the benefits of motocross after that feeling.
I'm sure you've seen MotoGP riders doing motocross for practice, and we've all heard how riding dirt bikes will get you used to the feeling of the rear wheel sliding, so it won't scare you when that happens on the road.
But after just 1 year of riding motocross, I've learned that there is a lot more to it than that. Every time I unlock a new skill on the MX track, it gives me a whole new perspective of riding in general. So today I wanted to share with you 7 of the best things I've learned from motocross that have made me a better street rider.
I've dabbled in dirt bikes since 2021, but I was always too scared to commit to motocross, to the point where I eventually just sold my dirt bike altogether.
But it didn't take long for me to really miss it. So almost exactly a year ago, I bought this bike with the intention of finally committing to my dream of learning to ride motocross properly and becoming a better rider. And it's taken that entire year to finally get to the level that I've always wanted to be at.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still not fast, but I'm a lot better than my first day when I was too scared to even leave the ground.
Holy crap, I couldn't even walk up there if I wanted to.
I have no doubt that I'll learn a lot more in the next 6 months and laugh at this video. So let me know what I can look forward to learning soon. But hopefully this video can motivate someone to give motocross or any form of track riding a chance.
When I got my first 600, I used to try to hang off like a MotoGP rider around all my favorite corners and then wonder why I went slower and felt more sketchy. But motocross helped me break this stupid habit. You see, in motocross, you're taught to keep your body weight perpendicular to the ground when cornering on a flat surface, to keep more weight on the tires and ultimately get more traction. After practicing this on my dirt bike, I naturally started to keep a more neutral riding position on my street bike when cornering. Without even trying, I could carry more speed through the corners, and I had a much better feeling of what the bike was doing underneath me.
There is obviously a time and a place to hang off, otherwise GP riders wouldn't do it. But it's a classic case of don't run before you can walk. I wanted to be like my heroes before I'd even mastered regular riding. And to be honest, I don't think there's ever a reason to hang off on the street.
I also remember watching a Fortnite video talking about exactly this not long after I learned it. And as a result, it really resonated with me. But there was a section in that video where they stated that you should keep your elbows down when cornering on a road bike. This contradicts the golden rule in motocross of keeping your elbows up at all times. I have no doubt that keeping your elbows down on a superbike that has very low clip-on handlebars is the more effective way to ride. However, on my very upright naked bike with a traditional handlebar setup just like you'd find on a motocross bike, I really like the feeling of elbows up. All of this to say that I've learned not to imitate pro riders or to listen to every piece of advice you hear. There isn't one riding style to suit every bike or every rider. If you're used to something or feel faster or more comfortable riding a specific way, then do it. This kind of ties into the previous point, but I think it deserves its own point. You see, I remember my parents reading a book called The Twist of the Wrist when I was a kid, back when they used to do track days. And when I started riding motocross, I would binge all of the Moto Academy and MX Factory YouTube videos, learning how to corner faster, how to jump, and even how to whip, even though I couldn't jump yet. But I now realize that all I was doing was trying to compensate for not riding enough. The best way to get better at riding is to actually spend a lot of time riding. I fully support watching videos like that once you've mastered the basics to get better, but watching them when I just started really didn't work for me.
Track days of any form are awesome because you can do the same corner 50 times and each time try something a bit different and learn for yourself what body position and bike inputs make the biggest difference to your speed and comfort.
If I could start over now, I'd spend a lot less time trying to ride like those videos said I should and spend more time just messing around, playing around on a dirt bike to find a style that works for me, because as soon as I started to do that, I improved a lot faster. Obviously, if you're a better rider, you will be safer. But I've also found that I take a lot fewer risks on the road, and I think it's because I get it all out of my system at the track. I mean, it has to be that. I doubt I've matured.
Being able to ride as fast as you possibly can, even if that's still slow, really does make me less likely to do that on the road. I don't try to practice on the road anymore. I don't do stupid maneuvers to overtake cars, simply because I get enough adrenaline at the track. I don't need to go looking for it on the street.
So it is true that riding dirt bikes can get you used to the feeling of the back wheel sliding because there's a lot less traction on the dirt. But I think the best thing I've learned in that department is how to find traction. There's no doubt that my MT-09 has enough power to spin up the rear wheel if the tire is cold, the surface is slippery, or if I'm leaning far forwards. I learned that early on in riding big bikes. And a little 250 like this can just as easily spin up the rear wheel in the dirt. But as I started to want to go faster on the MX track, you start to open the throttle earlier and wider. And sometimes the limiting factor is just traction. You can open the throttle as early as you'd like, but if the rear wheel is just spinning, you're not going any faster.
It's the same at this hard pack track when you're hitting a jump coming out of a corner. If you can't get traction, you're just going to slide out, because you're still leaning a bit from the corner.
And as a result, this taught me to use my body weight in all weird and wonderful ways to find traction. I know it sounds obvious, but it was never something that I needed to learn on the street, because just pinning it was fast enough. If the back wheel started to spin, it wasn't the end of the world. But by sitting down further back, getting your body weight over the rear wheel, but still keeping your head forward, you get the perfect mix of traction while still not wheeling. I'm doing a bad job of explaining it because it's all about feeling and not just a cut and paste formula. But it's now something that I instinctively do on my road bike, and I swear my back tire has lasted longer as a result. The beauty of any track is that there's always someone faster than you. One of the reasons I've been able to improve is because I found friends that are much faster than me. They're able to show you what's possible, how to do it, and most importantly, encourage you and push you past your comfort zone. And that's something that I've never found on the street. So I've never had that push to improve, which would also make it more enjoyable.
My local track recently put in a new terrifying double, and I've never jumped anything like that in my life. I knew I could jump that far, but I also knew that if I came up short, I'd be dead.
Can I follow you?
But this guy wouldn't stop bugging me to jump it all day. And eventually I did get over the mental block and was able to hit it safely thanks to his advice. And I've never been more satisfied in my life.
That is cool.
Okay, let's go over the last two quickly because I've still got heaps to learn about both of them. But I've just barely brushed the surface and can already see the potential benefits. I am not a sensitive rider. You get those guys who can feel one click difference in their suspension settings, but in the past, I probably wouldn't have even noticed a flat tire because I'm so insensitive. But motocross has helped me get better at that, so that I don't crash as often. You're forced to listen to the feedback that your tires are trying to give you. I've been able to adjust my preload and tire pressures between sessions and ride the exact same conditions back to back. The best thing I've learned to feel is suspension. Going into a corner faster and braking harder so that your suspension compresses for the corner and is within its working range throughout the corner makes a massive difference for all types of riding. Having it within that correct range offers a lot more traction than when it's fully extended doing 3 miles an hour. I know I basically implied that I wouldn't give in to the cliche of sliding the bike, but I'll try keep it quick. We've all had the back wheel slide on us. We've all had the front wheel briefly lock up on us.
And we've all seen those epic slow-mo shots of MotoGP riders sliding both wheels at the same time through a corner. Talk about riding on the edge.
Well, for the first time in my life, since riding from the age of 8, I finally felt that feeling. And it's a level of bike control that I didn't even know existed. Don't get me wrong, I still can't do it on command, but just experiencing that feeling makes me want more. I basically came into the corner faster than normal, got both wheels sliding until the berm caught my wheels. It was probably only a few millimeters, but I was able to do it a few times over the course of the day and practically felt like Brad Binder. It's one of the things that I want to improve over the next year. But the point is that this can unlock new levels of bike control that I would never have encountered on a street bike because crashing a road bike is a lot more expensive. But anyway, let me know what you've learned from time on track, share this video with a friend who you should get dirt bikes with, and I'll see you on the next ride.